So this presentation is called Innovation Ecosystems. As you read in the description, we're going to learn how to build innovation departments and strategies, but also we are going to have a new and fresh perspective for from innovation to start. So first of all, well, as Anna introduced me very quickly, my name is Nelson. Everything that you should know is I come from a little country called El Salvador, which is 10,000 kilometers away from here. Here is not the internet only, but here is Frankfurt, Germany, where I'm based. And what is important to note is that in the last 3 months, as Anna is saying, I started or I founded my own company called ISPIM, and it's the first dedicated innovation agency in Frankfurt. So I don't want to go much into it. I'm just going to show you a single slide of what I do there so that you at least have an idea of what I'm doing right now. But basically, it's 3 different products. I'm trying just to pin the video here, a quick second. There it goes. Now it's working well. So yeah, I could not see the whole presentation, but now I can again. So it's 3 different products. The first one is we run innovation workshops, taking people from challenge to idea. I believe that every single one of us is already, into this topic, so I'm not going to describe much. The other one is building innovation departments and strategy design. And the third one is running mindset change seminars. So you're going to understand why these, sort of products or services come into play after the presentation. So now we actually start with the real thing. The most important thing that you should know is that today we're going to see the topic innovation, from 2 different sides. First, we're going to start with innovation for individuals. So I have a fresh definition that we can learn today. And in the last 2/3 of the presentation, let's say the first 10-15 minutes going to individuals and the last 30 minutes going to corporates. So we're going to actually see, how to structure innovation departments and what things work, what things do not work. And so that you have an idea and the right expectations. Everything is going to be extremely visual today. So I will have lots of examples. And yeah, I hope that you really like them. And don't forget to make any questions if you do have them. So, in the past 3, 4, 5 years, I discovered that I'm on a journey to understand the meaning of life. I'm sorry, I mean the meaning of innovation. This is what is innovation, right? So, and I started this journey, and I have been asking myself all the time. So, since technology is so important, maybe is there some sort of device, some sort of wearable, maybe like a helmet or something that you just wear on your head, and then that can actually make you spark, be more creative, have the imagination of a kid? Well, I'm just going to show you something. So just please enjoy the next video. So I'm sorry, I actually had to wear it on. I hope that you can actually see me right now, but yeah, so this is the helmet. And of course, if you're asking yourselves, it doesn't work, right? So this helmet is actually a metaphor, and that's what is good at. It's a metaphor for what innovation really is. And first of all, I'm not gonna have the helmet through the whole presentation because it's really heavy and it ruins my hair. I'm kidding, but yeah, it's actually really heavy. So what you should know right now is that this helmet actually helps me explain people a new perspective around innovation. So I'm just going to show you. Let's move to the next slide. So here we're starting with the first part of the presentation. Anna, Lucia, if you're talking with me, I cannot hear you right now, but I will hear you soon. I'm gonna just put the helmet away. So the helmet is a metaphor because I really think that we need we really need a new definition for innovation. So most of the time, most of the time people say that innovation is just, a process, or just like going through making from zero to idea to having an idea that is, something that you can sell in the market and make profits on. Other people think innovation is just, a reason to convince shareholders to, invest, just keep buying, not to sell. And what's super important is that we need a definition that goes back to the basics, that goes back to who we are, what sort of emotions do we have, and what sort of mindset we can create. So we can have. So right now we're going to move into innovation, and this is a really fresh definition. It's a human-centric view of innovation. It's everything, but widespread. It's unorthodox. But what is really good at is that seeing innovation as individuals. So it's innovation as state of mind. That's where we're going to go in now. By the way, Ana and Lucia, I heard my headset turning on again. So please just let me know really quickly if you can hear me well, and so that I know that I can hear you. But yeah, I was just trying out what's up. Oh, cool. So innovation, first of all, is a temporary, fragile, and unstable state of mind. I'm going to go into this soon. But what is important is that if you think that this is a state of mind and you can reach it, only those who know how to exploit this, reaching this state of mind, are the ones that are going to be writing the future of tomorrow. So it's the people that are going to be designing like the world. So with innovation as a state of mind, I mentioned that there's 3 different things that are important. So by the way, I don't know if you can actually hear me. So I hope that you can. So yeah, no message.
We can hear you very well.
Oh, perfect. Okay, that's nice. It's first time I hear something. Okay, thank you. The first thing is that innovation is fragile. You have to imagine like this. So you wake up, something's happening this day, but you're in the office and you're feeling like you have like an unlimited amount of imagination, like everything that you want to visualize, you do visualize super easy. Everything that you want to craft, you just think about it. You have a picture in your head and you just build it with your hands. Or if you need to program, it's just like this moment where you're in some sort of flow and you're just writing and things are happening so fast you don't notice. But at one moment it's like, wow, okay, I'm done with my task. It's been weeks or it's been days since I wanted to finish it, but today I had a super day, right? So this is the sort of super state that I'm talking about. I say that it's fragile because you could get into it, but if you get a single message, I don't know, from your husband or wife or someone from your family telling you like, hey, I had an accident, please come to the hospital or something like this, even if they write, I'm okay, whatever, you will just lose this state right away. It just breaks instantly, poof, like there was nothing before, it vanishes. And second thing about it is that it's temporary. So it always has a beginning, and of course it always has an end. For some people, this can take, I don't know, hours if they are really lucky. Other people can like reach this state and keep it for minutes. Other people are super innovative for some seconds. But what's important is that, that you start discovering like how long does it take for you and when you are aware about it. Last part is that innovation as a state of mind or mental state is unstable. So we know that our brains always trying to be super efficient. So, the longer we do the certain job, a certain activity, the better we get. So there's a learning curve, of course. So you're learning more about it, but at the same time, like from here is like from 0 to now, you're learning more about it, getting better. But at the same time, like the usage of your brain, like the effort that your brain needs to invest into is always decreasing to the point that sometimes even the most difficult tasks you can do just automatically. You sit down, like you already are so used to it that it will just, like flow. But that's not like an innovative state of mind. That is just like the moment where your brain and your experience have reached this point of, I ace it every time. I know how it rolls. I don't have to think much about it. So, brains are lazy and efficient. So that means that in nature, reaching this state, like, it's unstable because it demands a lot of energy. So I believe that everybody of us can relate that having those awesome days where everything works out, or you have a really nice workshop, or you come out with that idea that is like stupendous. And when you come back home, you feel like you have been working out the whole day, or I don't know, or working in a construction site. You're just so tired, right? So that's because it's this state of mind is, is consuming so much energy that, it needs to stop. So fragile, temporary, and unstable, they are quite similar in some point, all of them. But we're going to keep talking about this through the presentation, and you will see how we can build like a department surrounding this. So I argument there's two ways of reaching innovation, like the two popular ones. The first one is absolute need, which is basically imagine that moment where you really, really need, because due to certain like timelines, you need to achieve something in a really short amount of time. And how does this look in nature? Absolute need is like you're in the jungle and you see a jaguar, right? It's looking back at you. And in this moment, like, it's your normal survival instinct to just like enter this super state of I need to find an idea, I need to find a solution to this huge problem, and I need to find it now. So that's how it looks, and I'm going to explain a little bit better later. And then stimulus is, is what we want to achieve. Stimulus is more, getting into this state by yourself, finding some sort of patterns, and we will talk more into that. So I want to show you how it looks like. So we all saw the video before. So absolute need, what we have on the bottom left, or bad, and that's how stimulus look like on the top right. That's good. So just to be sure, absolute need, stimulus. Absolute need, and I'm going to explain why you don't want to work like this. So the example with the jaguar, let's go more to the businessy. I know business is not a word, but I like the word businessy because it describes everything super fast. But yeah, instead of thinking about nature, let's think survival at the office. So you will definitely be stressed. It will not be fun. I can guarantee you that it will not be fun. I mean, even if you can handle stress really well. And the worst of it all is that it doesn't guarantee that you succeed in time. In nature, not succeeding in time, in the jaguar case, it means you got eaten by a jaguar. In the office, it means someone is going to, get into trouble. Someone is going to get fired. I don't know, bankruptcy in the worst case, or if you're working in some sort of other, NGO projects, then, it's just like bad results that will affect real people. So you don't want to try to do this. You want to try to, be like Nick here, just like stimulated and get into this state of mind really quickly, so that you are not solving problems and being innovative by like complete absolute need. So on the other hand, you're actually doing it because you want to be ahead, you want to be forward, you want to be the one disrupting, you want to be the one generating the future for the others. So for that, you might be asking yourself, okay, so how do I reach this super state, right? So here, I'm gonna use something from my helmet. So, okay, so I'm argumenting that there's some way of getting like stimulated, right? Just getting from zero to idea again. And you only need two things as of now. You need something to write, pen and paper, or smartphones, because it's 2019 and soon it's going to be a new decade. So I believe we all can also write on smartphones. And you will need to be self-aware. You need to know yourself. You need to know your moods. And that's everything that it takes to do this. So I've been working like for a long time with the next process that I'm going to show you. Is quite complex, but at the same time quite simple. But I've been working for a long time, and I came out that, to reach innovation, first of all, you will need to recognize some activities. So right now here I have something called the Spark Box, and the Spark Box, spark for, like sparking, like, or stimulating. And inside I put different activities that actually can take you there. For example, for some people, or I'm gonna say the sort of things to stimulate me. For me, it stimulates when I wake up early. I like to run really, really fast in a short amount of time, let's say less than half an hour, reach a point where I'm almost like completely exhausted. So I am super calm. Then I hear certain songs, definitely not Despacito, but other songs, I know Enya whatsoever. I shower slightly longer, maybe 2 minutes longer than usual. and slightly colder than usual. I don't know, 1 or 2 degrees. And after that, I skate my way to the job, as long as it's not raining, of course. I mean, if it's raining, maybe I'm going to run for less time, but yeah. But the thing is, like, if I do this, if I follow these activities, I know that I'm going to come like to my job and I'm going to feel really well. I'm going to reach this super state. Everything that I want to make it work is going to work. So, you know, a 8, 9, 10-hour day of work, I can do in 1 or 2 hours with better results than I will ever do. I don't know, even like working for a week. So I try to follow this again and again. So I call it like a spark box, so that you put like different activities, but so that you have an idea. It can be, I don't know, being exposed to nature, hearing a certain voice, doing certain activities, sport activities, showering with other temperatures, seeing a smile from someone, listening to a video, eating something tasty, playing with a bouncy ball, driving to work. You know, there's many things. There's many other activities that will be here in the spark box. So you need to think about what sort of activities are the ones that you do. And yeah, just here little super useless advice, but if sparkles will be, you know, like an IKEA product, or it will be called Miss Laura. But yeah, let's just continue. So here's the process that I've been working on. So you try to combine, even you try one activity or you combine different activities from the sparkles. Then you're self-aware and ask yourself, okay, it's like, how do I feel today? Did it, you know, does it like spark it? Does it stimulate me? Does it actually get me to feel like innovative, the richest state of mind? So if it does, or if it doesn't, you will always document your results. And you know, I keep everything on OneNote, for example. And for example, the one that I told you is the pattern that is helping me right now. But this is it. Like everything that you want to do is like find your own pattern. Okay, so the combinations of these activities. And if you manage to do it, believe me, you will have other days that feel different than everything that you ever did before. Is, you know, reaching this super state again and again is just awesome. Your days get reduced. You have so much more time for other activities that will keep, you know, making you feel better and reaching this state easier again and again. But something about your pattern is, and we will come back with the definition of innovation, is fragile. So even if you reach this state of mind, there's other things, there's other like variables or other patterns that can break them. It's temporary. So even your pattern as innovation is, so the pattern doesn't work always. So it continues changing with the time, like your interest, your health and body, like the knowledge and experience that you have, and so many things are changing with the time. Time is the constant, everything else becomes the variable, means that your pattern will also evolve and change. At the third part is, I was explaining before that our brains try to be really efficient. So, you know, your brain wants to be efficient with everything. So if you're like exploiting the same pattern again and again, it's going to stop. It's going to stop working at some point. I mean, Despacito won't make you feel, you know, innovative anymore. And I'm kidding with Despacito. Maybe it does work for you, but yeah. So find your pattern. Now, so maybe if you have any questions as of now, because we're moving from individuals to the corporate side of innovation, it would be awesome if you could ask. Do we have anything as of now, Lucia? If I may ask, just a little short reply would be awesome.
No, at the moment we don't have questions, but feel free to type them in Q&A box.
Yeah, okay, cool, perfect. So I'm going to continue. Now we're going to see the whole topic from the corporate side, so building innovation departments. For that, I have put like a summary of the usual things that you see. So companies ask themselves this, okay, innovation, you know, I believe one day someone is going to approach me and tell me like, hey, so do you sell more of this like innovation that you offer everywhere? Like, I would like to, you know, two of, you know, those innovation things. Now I'm just kidding. But the thing is, companies try different ways to be innovative, to buy themselves into innovation. There's many like sort of activities that you can do. Like we have innovation campaigns, you know, just like outsource the whole innovation thing, having a technology festival, just putting together an innovation team and let them know it's like, yeah, we want an innovation culture and just like some other buzzwords, but don't really do much more than that. Just give incentives to people for creating ideas or saying, okay, we have a new innovation strategy, classic, but you know, the same normal strategy as before, or I don't know, like celebrating some sort of innovation day. I mean, cool. Anything that is trying to bring the innovation culture forward. And as we were saying before, you know, for the individual side, we're talking more of innovation as a state of mind. For the corporative side, we're talking innovation more as, you know, as a culture, a cultural topic. So it actually fits. And, you know, all of these activities, they bring you a little bit forward, but the most important thing is to understand that innovation is a cultural topic before everything else. And once you do, you can create what we're going to see next. So this is a really simple formula of how you can reach innovation. It's not a guarantee, as said, but it will still at least, you know, prove that you're prepared to do it. So I'm going to show you two versions because this is my version from like 3 years ago. I was argumenting, okay, so if the people have the right motivation and mindset, and the companies generate the right atmosphere, and people have the enough inputs of knowledge and convert them into actions. If this is bigger than the lack of motivation as the stress and distractions and the ignorance and not acting, this is bigger than, you know, this is when innovation actually happens. I'm speaking about the formula below. The part on top is like the summary, you know, if you just want to remember the positive things. And this is how I think of it now. It's just a little bit simpler, less than a formula, but more like a little journey. So still, we speak about motivation. And once, you know, you get the people into the right motivation, this is something that it takes long because it's about inspiring, it's about, you know, talking with people one-on-ones and so on. Then you can start focusing on, okay, what sort of processes, on which tools and which people do we have for this? So you generate the process afterwards. Then the process starts generating an atmosphere in the company that also like goes back to motivation, making it bigger, making the process more reliable and so on. And then we will move a little bit more to the right, you allocate the resources. So with that resources, which is, you know, most of your time and people, you can actually get more inputs of knowledge, you know, bring more externals, having more people that actually are in the job of bringing knowledge from outside or just, you know, like communicating the knowledge from inside to the others. And only so, you know, if you cover all these things, you can move into action. So that's the last part. If you have a process out there, and there's many companies that they do have their own innovation processes and they trying to force the people into, you know, going from zero to idea. But what you want to do is have the people naturally be doing this, because these are the ideas that are naturally born are the ones that, you know, that give the best results. So, you know, you want to not give them like absolute need and more like stimulate them, as we were saying before. This is how you rate innovation. And the more you move here from left to right, like the bigger or stronger the innovation culture is. So as we are speaking all the time, it's a mindset thing. It's like a corporate mindset, a corporate cultural topic around innovation. So that's the one how people like get always like have the energy, the mindset, and also of course some ideas to them. And what I have prepared for today is just this is based on one article I call it, "What the hell do innovation teams do?" So we are going to see like from the most like the overview from how innovation can look like in your company. And you have to ask for yourself, okay, so what does fit? What is possible to do right now? But you will see that there's a principle, like some roles, and these are here. We have some roles that you need to cover from the innovation side. And, you know, if you have always, as I had before, like the processes and the resources to do this, then believe me, it's going to go all right. So I have built 6 innovation departments, like the last 4 at the Lufthansa group. And they are all like still running well. I was just visiting yesterday the Lufthansa Aviation Center, and to see like how one of the events that we created is still continue going, and it was well. I mean, it's still developing, so I'm super happy, you know, to give this little check that the sort of innovation departments that I've been building that are still running well. So we have three different roles here, and these roles are not real people. These roles are just like my way of humanizing the topic. But the explorer, the popular, and the coach, they are all a group of activities. So I'm going to go into each one of them, and we will see some examples. I just want to know, how am I doing with the time? I cannot see anywhere, right? Can I? Okay, so perfect. We're good with the time. So this is an example that I got from the last company, Lufthansa Cargo. I had to remove a lot of things, so there's a lot of like spaces in between. There's some things that I cannot show you, but what you want to see here really quickly is that you can recognize like that there's different group of activities like coaching and support, topics and exploration, inspiration and network. And if you see like the explorer, the popular, and the coach, they are all present there. So the explorer is on the bottom right, the coach is on the bottom left, and the popular is on the top on the inspiration network. And there's a lot of different like activities, events that you need to have so that you build this whole ecosystem and you generate the right culture. So let's start with the explorer, and I'm going to be showing you some examples. So first of all is, the topic trends. So the explorer is supposed to be looking out there, what are universities doing? What are other like institutions doing? For example, what is ISPIM doing, and trying to send some people to ISPIM. And also right now is, what sort of mega trends are out there. And during the time that I was working at Lufthansa still some months ago, I was still working on, finding out which sort of mega trends are there. So here's like a little overview of some technology and some social mega trends that we have out there, Industry 4.0, connected world, artificial intelligence, of course, virtual experiences, transhumanism, my favorite one. And then we also have some social trends. I'm not gonna go into any of this because, we don't have time for that, but I'm definitely sure that you heard all of them. I don't know, like demographic change and sustainability are like the biggest ones right now, and the future of work, how we will continue working in the coming years. But important is like, so you want to find out what sort of trends are going out there, and you want to find out which are like extremely relevant. So the thing about the mega trends is that mega trends apply to every single industry and to every single person in some way. But you still want to prioritize which are the ones that will be affecting your company and your industry. And, organize little events and organize little activities where people get to learn and experience a little bit about these mega trends, and where they will get like, they get to play and create, generate some ideas around them. So then is sources. I'm going to share you, this is really personal for me. This is my choice of sources where I usually get all the information that I have, because people always continue to ask me like, Nelson, how does it come that you're so creative? How does it come that you know a little bit about everything? So what I do is I visit certain pages again and again. On the top left, the first one is Kurzgesagt. So Kurzgesagt, or in a nutshell, this is a YouTube channel, and they always produce a lot of videos about like really big mega trends that are going out there. What I like is that they are super, fact-based, and they always show different perspectives, like from the different sides of every single topic. So it's really good to have a general view, like a holistic view of things, and then being able to, like go and research the topics that you like yourself with a little bit of, like pre-knowledge. So they try to not oversimplify things, and they invest a lot of time in every single minute. It goes like around 1,000 hours for a 9-minute video into research and work. So it's really good. Then we have brilliant.org, which is a page where you can go and do a lot of activities, like math, science, and you have a lot of little tasks, but they have been made in a way that you can start thinking super fast. For example, one of my favorite courses is around artificial intelligence, where it will ask you to do some things. For example, find the difference between a dog and a cat. And then it will teach you how a computer will learn it, so that you understand the basics behind artificial intelligence. And they're always going into more complicated things, but with really easy steps. Then we have in the middle on the left, Linux Tech Tips. and Tech Quickie, which are 2 different YouTube channels. And if you see them, I don't know, it's like 15 to 20 minutes a week. You will know everything what's going on around technology. And I can assure you, for me, this has become something almost like religious, looking at it again and again and again, so that I know that what happened yesterday, I still know like the latest updates. Then you should mix, your hobbies and network, the sort of friends and network that you have are going to be feeding you with things. I mean, your network will define how your LinkedIn feed or your LinkedIn posts look like. And your hobbies will make you invest more time into some things. For example, I love everything around computers and also building computers. So it means that I need to be learning automatically more about the newest tech. Then we have the last two, Skillshare, which is a page where you just find a lot of courses. And for example, this is how I'm learning now Adobe Illustrator. And all the material that goes in there, all the content is extremely well done. They have a lot of tools, but if you want to learn a new skill, Skillshare is super good. And the last one is Reddit, which I believe Reddit almost everybody knows, but they are a huge forum, and there's a lot of experts and enthusiasts discussing about every single topic that you could imagine in the world, even about this Reddit just for cupcakes, if you want to, but this Reddit is just for mixed reality or just for augmented reality from Microsoft HoloLens, whatever. So just going to them, and if you get involved in a community and in writing and reading forums, then believe me, you will automatically be getting a lot of input. So that's what the Explorer does. It's looking always out there. It's always trying to, expose herself or himself to what's outside. And I mean it, it's not a role, but this is a group of activities. So the Explorer can be different people, and some people can be the Explorer or the coach or the Popular at the same time. But we will move on right now to the Popular. So the Explorer is checking outside. So now we need someone, or we need some activities that help bring all this information, like from other industries, from other institutions, everything what's happening outside of the company, and spread it inside. So here we have now the Popular, and for example, events is the quickest way. So here I have just a single example from when I was working at Lufthansa. So these mega trends that we were seeing before, we would just explain every single one of them with lots of detail, with lots of adaptations to our industry, to the people. And it actually really helps for everyone to have this extra input that we were talking about, and this extra inspiration, so that eventually they come out with ideas. And every single event, I'm not going to go into details on what sort of events we did, but they follow this frame. So, we need to motivate the people. So you motivate them by, making inspiring events, by picking topics that are quite cool or lit, you will say, and present them in a way that, that people can really make the topic tangible for them. So if they are motivated with how you communicate them, they will also gain more knowledge. And the last part, something extremely important for these events, is that we always want a lot of interactions between the people, because we all know that, working on an idea and making it happen is way easier if we are not alone. So therefore, all the events are around this, about this frame, always mix motivation with knowledge and network. So we are informing people, we are inspiring people, and we are giving people, the resources in terms of other people instead of teams to work on ideas together. And the last 4 principles that we follow we want to follow with every single event that we do is, is that they are always transparent. For example, if it's about, if there's events where you want people to, I don't know, get money or win support for an idea whatsoever. So you want them to let them know exactly every single rule behind. If you have juries to evaluate ideas whatsoever, you want people to participate that are not from top management, so that you show to everyone in your company, hey, so we have this program now, and you can submit your ideas, and there's this big prize. So we were talking about incentives whatsoever. But what's a game changer if everybody knows that it's not only top management looking at the idea, is people from anywhere, people directly from the operations whatsoever, so that they know, okay, this is indeed, they are really open, and they are doing it not only for us but with us. Minimum hurdles. So as we have learned from technology, like everything is about conversion rates. I invite 100 people. How many come to the event? I don't know, 60. From these 60, how many actually got really into the topic and stayed till the end? Whatsoever, maybe 30. From these 30, how many developed, came out with ideas that were submitted? Maybe 5. And from these 5, like how many go, continue? So you always want to have minimum hurdles in your processes, and with all sort of events and things that you plan, so that it's super quickly that people, get to attend, so that people get to participate. And always open for everyone. The moment that you start, closing on innovation, we all have heard from open innovation, like indeed just going out there and say, like, any company, any person is allowed to help you. So this is the same principle that we want to live in our processes. I mean, even if it's close to your company, don't close it just for certain people, because sometimes you might have this genius person sitting somewhere where they don't belong. And if you give them the opportunities, like with transparency, participation, minimum hurdle, and they know that it's also open for them, maybe like redesign a strategy, even if they are in operations and not something around management, then believe me, they will take this chance. Okay. If you remember one thing from for the whole day and for this presentation, Nancy, okay, we have the last 7 minutes, we're good with time. If you remember one thing, this is what I personally found the most powerful thing. So generating this innovation culture, and the role of the popular is doing lots of one-on-ones, speaking one person to one person. And just like, it's the really only way that I believe that really brings other people into thinking alike, into changing their mindset, into being more open. And what you need to find is, a structure where multiple people will become like the multiplicators. So don't take groups of 2 or 3, just like speak with a single person and just win them over. Because believe me, it's better to, do this than just like create an event with 100 people and tell them how innovative we should be. That usually doesn't work like that. But one-on-ones, you can hear them back, and they can also give you really good feedback on the processes and the image that everybody has around the innovation team, innovation department, whatever you call it. So I believe that one-on-ones is the most valuable way to, communicate and win people over so that they join your team. And also, I mean, it's part of the networks, but it is way more personal. So I believe that if you want to find a way for your company to be more like innovative, you have to create a system where people can meet, like with lots of one-on-ones. There's apps for that. There's a lot of platforms and different ways of doing it. But yeah, remember, one-on-ones is the best way to actually start spreading something. I know it's not as quick as you would like to, but that's the thing about innovation as a culture. It's not something that you buy and that's it, and it just happens. It's not something that you rush and it happens. It's a lot of work. And yeah, this is going back to the basics, as I'm telling. And the last part from the popular, that is everything around emotion. So really little things can do a lot of change. So I'm gonna show you like some of the things that I did to win people over with my company. So whoop, I don't know if it's going to play. Do you hear anything right now? Okay, well, but the thing is, doesn't matter. I believe this wasn't supposed to have any sound. But here's like, I would like build an astronaut for Whisper, and these are things that I have been like publishing on Instagram whatsoever. But just like having an astronaut or doing things like this helmet that you saw before, it doesn't cost you anything. It's it's super easy, super cheap to do it. It's just like being a little bit creative in this moment, and we learned how to do this before. But doing things like this, they call the attention, because innovation and creativity and being fun it's all about, you know, like the emotions that people have, and these emotions are the ones that can be part of our pattern and just like get us into this mindset. So if you make it tangible, if you make it fun, if you make it attractive, you will just, you know, like win them over really quickly. And that's something that you should remind in the role of the popular or in the group of activities. So that was my best view. And the last part, we have the coach. So big word, visualizing. When it comes about the coach, everything is about visualizing. So I have a little example, and we should have the last like 3 minutes. That's good with time. So like usually people, just follow me. People think about apple and nature, fruits grows in trees. So pine, if you mix apple and pine, you know, like pine and apple, you get pineapple, right? So this is how people like are usually coming out with ideas. They have something in mind and they, you know, think about the next thing, and maybe they combine things whatsoever, but there's always a relation. So that's how you go from apple to pineapple. This is the way how I used to think, which is a little bit different. But I will go from apple, and then I'm communicating something about pineapple. So it's like, okay, apple and pineapple, okay, that's the same word. There's something, and then I will tell you Adam Sandler. And it doesn't make sense, right? It's just like, oof, why did this happen? But if I will visualize how I think, and this is super important, especially when working in groups, you know, trying to create an idea. If we visualize, then it's super easy to understand even the most secret ways of thinking, like mine. Like I will go from apple, and apple is a fruit, but at the same time, I saw someone with a yellow blazer, and this remembered me about a smile, like a yellow smile that I had in a post-it during this video that I showed you before. And yellow is and with fruit is a pineapple, but then I remember during the cinema time that there's a song that I heard, like from Adam Sandler, and pineapple, you know, somebody offers me a drink, and then pineapple, the only drink that I know is pina colada. And if you mix it with music at once, it's like poof. Okay, so this is how I got with, you know, this Adam Sandler, because the only song that I know with pina colada is from a movie, you know, if you like pina colada, da, da, da. So thing is, I visualize a really like maybe idiotic or stupid way of thinking, which is mine, but it's the one that works for me. So if I show you this, it doesn't make sense to you. If I show you how to get from this to this, even it doesn't matter how stupid it is, then it can make sense again. So there's a process to get there. It's not structure whatsoever, but it can work. So I have here some examples, and I believe that now you hear is like of how you can continue doing things as a coach. So first is running workshops, and here I have you some examples of running workshops. Like you can actually run them in virtual reality. I have some real videos, but I'm not allowed to show, so I just created this one. Then the next one is about creating innovation spaces. So usually most of the companies have an innovation space looking like the one on the left. I believe that I have only like 1 or 2 minutes, right? I'm like only 5 more slides. Lucy, are we okay with that? I'm asking.
Yes, yes, we're okay.
All right, perfect. So on the left side, like when it comes to innovation spaces, that's something that the coach needs to do, you know, visualize a lot together with the popular innovation. Visualize during the process, you know, and also it needs to, you know, find places where you can, you know, go into all these innovative activities. So I always show this example. On the left side, we have what I call a show-off innovation room. Usually you have, I don't know, some sort of VR, drone, or robot that you cannot interact with because, you know, arts or decoration. And there's like a big whiteboard saying, I don't know, welcome to this innovation space, whatsoever. And it's so nice, maybe an artist did it. It's so nice that nobody ever erases it. So your biggest, most beautiful whiteboard, it has become a picture. And then you have, I don't know, like at the very end, just a really nice looking table with really nice looking chairs, but it's just a common, normal meeting room. And if you compare it to what we have on the right, which is on the functional side, is, you know, rooms that actually enable lots of human interactions, that enable you being able to craft and visualize and things everywhere, have costumes, have, you know, a video equipment to actually, you know, just like record ideas and being able to share them really quickly, have some spaces where people can relax, because we learned that innovation as a state of mind is tiring. It uses a lot of energy. So this is something that you can build. And these are like some of the concepts that I've been working on. This is a little bit old, but I believe it will still do better than 99% of the places out there. You know, having spaces just defined to think or stimulate yourself. You know, a lot of areas to sketch, place to relax. You know, tables with lots of materials to build and craft things. I don't know, a green screen and a little studio to film ideas, and also some space to explain so that people can concentrate. I know it could look something like this. So I just have a little example. This one is all this in one of my articles. For example, it can look something like this. So this one is like from LGBS. I'm allowed to show it to you because if you see on top of the table, that's like my own design. So like right now, if anybody at Lufthansa needs to build a really quickly like innovation space that it sparks more creativity, they will use like my principles to base them. This is like how an innovation space can look like inside of virtual reality. So we are also creating those. I mean, it's part of the megatrends as we saw. And here are some list of materials. I mean, you will get the slides later so you can check yourself, but I always like to make it for people easy to create, you know, this sort of space. So all of this, we were talking about making innovation tangible, making innovation, you know, visualizing everything. So having ways for people to work together on a thing, I believe is the easiest method to get them to, you know, create and generate ideas. And this is how it looks like. I have a lot of boxes with me on the back with lots of material for prototyping. And this is an example from my very good friends of Frankfurt Airport. And this is how they have it. You know, it's super easy. It's just right there. You just grab the things. This one doesn't exist in particular anymore. I don't know how they are doing it right now, but I really like this because, you know, everything is out there. You just pick and just build whatever you want. So now I'm closing. We learned a little bit about the Explorer, a little bit about the Popular and the Coach. So they are not persons, as I say, they are a group of activities, and they need to work with each other. So in summary, the Explorer is finding out there what's happening, and then the Popular is transmitting it, and at the very end, the Coach is turning all these new inputs and things, and all this formula that we saw, and this innovative state of mind, this trying to generate it, into ideas. So for today, if you remember one thing, I always ask the people, you know, if you're in a big corporate, imagine it like as a ship, and this is my closing lines. How would you change the direction of the ship? You know, you know it's going to hit an iceberg. You know, it's going to, I don't know, miss India and just like continue going over the world without touching Earth. So you want to change the whole direction, but you're not part of the crew, and there's like 7,000 other people in the same ship. I experienced something. So I was actually in a cruise ship several years ago, and one person fell down from the ship. So because of this one single person, these like thousands of tons, like this huge ship with over 7,000 people aboard had to steer 180 degrees, do a, you know, thousands of dollars, you know, little turn to get a single person back. You know, they also left some boats go down whatsoever, but what I really remember is that one single person that wasn't working for everything, didn't have to communicate anything, managed to turn the ship. So if you're an innovation manager, or if you're anyone working around digital transformation, innovation management, change management, whatsoever, what you need to do is, you know, you need to be living on the edge and be always, you know, ready to even sacrifice your own job for a greater good. So if you know your company should be heading there, just stick to it. It's going to work. If you don't do the innovation, someone else will. But I have found, you know, please don't jump off a ship. It's a bad idea. You can get hurt and you will get into jail. Don't ask me how I know that there's a jail in the ship. But yeah, but what you can do is always like be and stay on the edge, and always be prepared to jump in case that you feel the ship is not gonna go there at any point. But if you stay long enough and if you keep, you know, like challenging the things that are not working, if you keep, you know, always argumenting about which ways you could go, if you keep saying like, hey, no, I'm really going to stick to it, and you win with one-on-ones, a lot of people on board, this is how you know how you can steer the ship in the direction that you want, and you don't have to be the captain. So my name is Nelson Mejia. Thank you very much for joining today. And yeah, this was innovation as an ecosystem. I hope that you really like it. And here's my LinkedIn. If you want to add me, you just, you know, you can scan the QR code. So thank you very much. And I'm just 5 minutes late.
Thank you very much, Nelson. Maybe just last question for you before Anna closed the webinar. Where can we reach you besides your LinkedIn? Do you have any email or website, or where can we find your work? Or maybe
yeah, sure. So you can go to my website, also WISPARK, like the name that it says on the bottom left. Wait, I'm going to make it in big so that people can see it. So you go to on any browser to WISPARK and then dot, like point, IO for innovation on, WISPARK.io, innovation on. And there you can find my email address, you can find my number, you can also write me there directly. But if you ask me, like my main channel as of now is on LinkedIn. We also have a website, like a LinkedIn website for WISPARK. We're always posting a lot of stuff going on. And believe me, there's a lot of really cool things happening. There's a lot of, you know, value. So the same principles that we show before, like during the events, we try to apply those to the posts and to every single event that we do with WISPARK. So yeah, I hope that you can join.